Hey guys, in this video we are going to show you how to install a processor, memory, and a graphics card into a Precision 7960 Tower Workstation. And as always, we will post a link to our Precision 7960 Tower hardware upgrade guide in the description of this video. We'll start by removing the side panel on the workstation to access the system board. Next, we'll use two hands to remove the plastic cooling shroud. Now we have access to the processor slot, memory slots, and all of the PCI slots. Now we are going to remove the processor heatsink by cross-diagonally loosening the T30 screws that attach it to the system board. There is a sticker on top of the heatsink that shows the recommended screw loosening sequence. Once the screws are loose, you'll need to press the metal levers above each screw toward the heatsink to release it from the system board. We're going to install this Intel Xeon W5-3433 16-core processor into the system. This is the plastic processor holder that will allow us to attach the processor to the heatsink. The plastic holder and the processor will both have a little arrow that will show you how to align the processor for the install. Now we can line up the arrows and install the processor into the plastic holder. We recommend doing this process over a piece of foam to avoid damage to the processor if you were to accidentally drop it. Now we are ready to apply heat paste and attach the processor to the heatsink. The heatsink will also have an arrow on it to show us how to align the processor for the install. Now we are ready to attach the processor and heatsink to the system board. Once again, there will be an arrow on the processor socket to help us align the processor for the install. Once the heatsink is in place, you will need to push the metal levers back out towards the memory slots to allow you to cross-diagonally screw the heatsink down to the system board. Next, we are going to install 64 gig of memory into the workstation. We will do this by simply installing 4 16 gig DDR5 memory modules into slots 1 through 4. The last piece of hardware that we are going to install is an NVIDIA RTX A4500 graphics card. This install is also very simple because all we have to do is install it into one of the X16 slots and connect power to it. Now we'll reinstall the plastic cooling shroud and put the side panel back on so we can power the system on with our new components that we installed. Be aware that it is completely normal for the system to take some time to give video on the first power on when doing a bunch of hardware upgrades like this. We booted into the F2 setup to verify that our processor and memory were showing up properly. We can also see that the BIOS is recognizing the graphics card. After booting into Windows 11, the first thing we want to do is install the latest NVIDIA driver for our graphics card. We can download the latest driver by simply going to NVIDIA.com, selecting the drivers page on the top right corner, and then we'll select our graphics card version and correct operating system. We're going to end the video by showing you the processor, memory, and graphics card in the Windows operating system. If this video was helpful to you, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching.